Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I'm showing you my top 5 overdrive pedals in March 29, 2021. Why am I mentioning the date? Because it changes constantly. Today, it's what I picked up, but there's so many great pedals out there, and to get into a top 5 list, it's really hard. So probably if I pick them up tomorrow, it will be a different selection. But these 5 pedals are really, really inspiring to me. And this is not meant to be like a review episode on what the pedals do. It's just showing you why I like these 5 pedals and how I use them, not like the million options they have and they can do. But first of all, let me thank my dear patrons for supporting the show. If you want to become a patron and support the show, just go to the link and follow the steps. It's super easy. You can also support the show by contributing to the tip jar on PayPal, or visit my reverb.com store where I have some of the gear I review here in the show, but I can't afford to keep. That way you're also helping me. If you're interested in guitar lessons with me, just send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, or send me an email and we'll deal with it from there. My top 5 of today are the Murin Genre Russ Effects Double Standard, Guedes from Latvia Miesnieks X, Analog Man King of Tone, and the ZVEX Box of Rock. This is not a rating top 5, so I don't prefer one to the other. They are all great in different ways, and I use them for different ways. The Genre is actually on my Budda Power Blues pedal board, my main pedal board. The King of Tone is on my secondary pedal board of Budda Power Blues, my traveling light pedal board. The Guedes is on my Blues Experience pedal board as my overdrive sound. The Box of Rock I use a lot whenever I go to play like jam sessions or just guitar and amp. I bring the Box of Rock as my fake loud amp, so I can have distortion and compression without needing the amp to be as loud. And the Double Standard, I use it in the same way. I hope you like the video. Let's go. I set this pedal board in a way so you can hear every pedal on its own, not interfering with one another. So my Boss ES5 is having every of the 5 pedals on one loop. So I programmed it for 1 to be the Genre, 2 is the Russ Effects Double Standard, 3 is the Miesnieks by Guedes, 4 is the King of Tone by Analog Man, and 5 is the Box of Rock by ZVEX Effects. So this way I can switch immediately from one to the other without having to turn on and off. I will let you know what pedal is on. I try to set the pedals at the same kind of gain level. So I'm playing with my Nags Chop Tank, my trusty Nags Chop Tank. I love this guitar. It has Lindy Frelin Blue Special pickups on it. And I'm playing through the Tremo Verb, Supro Tremo Verb, mic'd up with the Biodynamic M160 ribbon microphone and a Shure Beta 57. I love this amp, I love this setting. It's one of my favorite amps, and this is one of my favorite guitars, if not the favorite one. So let me show you the clean tone going through the Supro. I'm using just a little reverb. Genre. Double Standard. Miesnieks. King of Tone. And the Box of Rock. So let me go through a G chord on the bridge pickup on every pedal. You hear they all sound very similar to one another, but very distinct. And there's two that really pop up on this. The double standard has two sides, and by the way, this is not a comparison of the pedals, not a review of the pedals. It's just to share my ideas and my favorite 5 overdrives in 2021, March 29, which is when I'm recording this. So it changes all the time, and it might change or not, but today these are my top 5 overdrives, and I want to share why I like them and what I like on them. It's not like trying to compare them all. So when I use an overdrive, I'm looking for a little boost in volume, and you hear that I'm a little louder than the clean tone. Because if I play the clean tone, if I turn on the Gen Ray, for example, and I want a little more brightness to be, so it can poke out and cut through the mix better. You probably hear me talking a lot about cutting through the mix. That means, cutting through the mix means being perceivable in the mix. So if you're playing with the band and you kick in an overdrive, you need to be a little more, a little louder, but not louder just in volume. You need to be a little more obvious. So you need to stick out in the mix, poke out through the mix. So if the drums are playing this level and the bass and your rhythm guitar is here, the solo guitar needs to be a little higher. And usually that's obtained with a little more mid-range, a little more treble or high mid-range. That's why a tube screamer is usually a pedal that everyone uses for that effect. I don't like tube screamers, actually. That's why you don't see any tube screamer here. So the Gen Ray is probably the most controversial pedal I have in here, because everyone says it's overpriced and the Timmy is just the same. I have a video on the Timmy and comparing it to the Gen Ray, for example, and the 385, Walrus 385, all pedals with bass, treble, gain, and volume. And they are all different. I don't think the Timmy is the same. A lot of people say it's exactly the same schematic, but if it was that simple, everyone would be able to do the same pedal. They don't feel the same, and that's probably the biggest thing about the 5 overdrives. I use this 5 overdrives in different settings, in different scenarios, because they feel differently, although they are all overdrives. So the Gen Ray is ultra versatile. It feels great. You can make it sound in a million different ways due to the bass and treble controls, because if you push the bass, it's almost a fuzz pedal. Let me show you. This is my overdrive. Look out for the volumes. This is bass, this is treble, gain, and volume. I won't touch gain and volume. I just touch the EQ. Man, the feeling of this pedal is incredible. I use it. It's on my main Budda Power Blues pedal board, so I use it live when I play live, because I haven't been playing live for probably almost 1 year, except for 4 shows last year, but I almost don't remember it. But the Murium Gen Ray is my solo pedal, so it's whenever I want to get the loudest and playing solo. I always have a pedal on my board that is a little fatter and a little more compressed and louder, because that's my solo when I play single notes. Whenever I play a big chord, like 6 strings on a row, it will distort way more the pedal than if you play just one note, because you're playing less notes. That's obvious, right? I will play my A chord E-shaped bar, and now just an A note. So I need a pedal that's thick when I play single notes. And this is usually my solo pedal. I usually don't stack pedals. So this is my solo pedal. Then I would need a cleaner tone for when I play chords. And for that, I usually, on my big board, I use the broadcast. And I don't have the broadcast here because it's not really an overdrive. So I took it out of this comparison or this episode because it's not really the same thing. So let me play the King of Tone that usually is my cleanish pedal. So if I'm playing a riff, so it's a little harder to solo. Let me play the same riff with the King of Tone and then with the Van Buren genre. So you hear it's way more distorted. And I don't like a rhythm pedal to be like that. I like it for lead. So when I want to do stuff like this, I would play like rhythm here, and I would probably even have the King of Tone less distorted. Something like this. So this is usually how I use my overdrives. I have one for solos or for single line licks, so if I'm playing just one note at a time, and one for rhythm. And you might think like, what's the difference of having the King of Tone for rhythm or having just the amp on a clean tone? This is the difference. So King of Tone. Just the amp. So it's kind of lifeless, right? I have the clean sound on the amp. I like it for really clean stuff. I don't have any delays here, but when I play stuff like... or if I want to play funky stuff... if I have the King of Tone on, it will mess up a little. So I don't really use it in this way. You know my philosophy about overdrives. So all these overdrives can really accomplish that effect of being really clean, cleaning up really good with the volume. So if I use the Gen Ray, for example, with this kind of distortion, I can clean it with my guitar volume. I have it on 5, it's a clean tone. Man, this pedal is just incredible. No matter what people say, if they say this is the same as the Timmy, it doesn't feel the same. So here's some controversy for this episode. Then the double standard by Russ Effects. I love everything Russ Effects does. Is one of the stranger pedals in here. One of the more different. It's a germanium. I think he says it's based on the Distortion Plus by MXR. I kind of get that because it's kind of a fuzzy pedal, although it's not fuzz. It's not a fuzz, but it has a fuzzy feeling. So if I play at the neck, it's kind of compressed and kind of broken in the bass section. And you're probably thinking, why do you have your tone all the way off? It's not all the way off, it's all the way on. The tone on this pedal works the opposite way, so it cuts to the right, okay? And it has two sides that sound different. So this side is kind of darker, this is more normal. And of course you can stack both sides. And it cleans beautifully too. It's a really great pedal. The only complaint I have on this pedal is that I need to have it maxed down on level, boost a little, and I would love to have a little more volume. But I love the tone of it, I love what it does, and it distorts really beautifully if you push it hard. But it's also able to clean. I like it as an overdrive pedal. As I told you, this is not meant to be a review of every pedal. It's just sharing the feelings I have for this pedals and how I use it. So if you want to watch the review on this pedal, go to the link. I'll probably have a link around here or something, and you can watch that review. These two pedals, the double standard and the King of Tone, are probably the most different in this set of 5 pedals. So let me show you the King of Tone, because it's the less compressed pedal. Well, it's the less distorted, but it has some attack and some really great stuff. Let me turn on a little more gain. So the King of Tone almost sounds like the amp is louder and distorting a little more. Let me show you the amp, the clean setting. And now the King of Tone. And it pokes a little more. It's brighter. It's more compressed, a little more drive, but it's kind of more of the same thing, which is really great. It's really one of the great things about the King of Tone. So this almost has kind of, it feels that it's clean, but it's not clean, because it has some hair in it. But it's more alive, while the double standard is actually always very compressed, kind of fuzzy. King of Tone. So they are kind of the extremes on this pedal board. One of my favorite overdrives, it's the Miesnieks. You know, I have the Miesnieks Simple. I have the X Miesnieks, or Miesnieks X, made by Guedes in Latvia. And I'm convincing Guedes to make me double Miesnieks, so to be the same as a King of Tone, 2 pedals in one box, 1 power supply, 1 patch cable, so way cheaper than having 2 pedals, and way less pedal board estate. This is kind of a double Miesnieks, but I only have control on the gain of the second side. I have to share the volume and the tone. I would love to have 2 Miesnieks, and this is a great alternative to the King of Tone. The Miesnieks can be kind of also the same thing, because it can be more compressed because it has this toggle switch, which to me sounds like more compression on the left side, less compression and more volume on the right side. So if I have it set like this, which is how I use it at home and when playing by myself, because it compresses a little more and it's softer and it's squishier, so it makes me play better. But I can also have it, so let's compare it first to the King of Tone. Miesnieks, King of Tone. So they are similar, but the King of Tone has more attack. Let's turn on the less compressed side of the Miesnieks. And I think this would be a good solution for when playing live and you want more transient, you want less compression because you're playing the amp louder, you're playing with the drummer, so you need less compression to sound good. This pedal allows you to have both settings, like less compressed, more compressed. I love it. I love it. I just can't wait. Again, builds me the doubled Miesnieks. It has a second side, which is great. I have it set like cleanish overdrive. And way dirtier. Let's turn it with less compression. And it almost sounds like the King of Tone with stacked, because the King of Tone has 2 pedals in one, and this is set for overdrive, this is for clean boost. So if we stack both, they sound like this. Miesnieks. As I told you, I'm not comparing pedals here. I'm just showing you why I love these pedals. But I tell you, the Miesnieks, it's a great alternative to the King of Tone. And when Guedes builds me the double one, it will be even better. And for the King of Tone, you have 2.5 years of waiting list. With the Miesnieks, it's almost immediate. It's way cheaper, and I love it. I tell you, it's one of my favorite pedals of all time. Now, the Box of Rock, it's also really cool. It has a magic thing. It's thick sounding. It cleans beautifully with the volume. Let me show you. And it's also a double pedal, although the second side, it's only a clean boost. It's the Super Duper Boost, very famous. I don't really like it. It's a little bright. It might work sometimes, but I almost never use it. Well, today I'm liking it. Let me turn off the overdrive sides because I think they are independent. So let me check. I don't remember. Yeah, they are independent, so it's a cool thing. You have a clean boost on one side, but I'm playing through the Supra, which is an already very compressed and a very easy to distort amp. That's one of the reasons I like the Supra, because it's always in that sweet spot, and I'm playing it barely on. It's kind of on 2, but it immediately sounds great. And with a push of a clean boost, it distorts. So you can add the distortion or the overdrive. Just the drive. Well, I told you I don't like the clean boost, but I'm loving it now. So it is what it is. It's like every day I think something different. And the goal here is not to let you know this is a great pedal for you to buy or that is a great pedal. It's like how I approach pedals and why I love them. I love them to clean with the guitar's volume, because then you have a lot more options. For example, the Gen Ray is beautiful on that. Let me distort it a little more gain. Compressing beautifully. And now ride the volume. It's still on. Yes, it is. So volume on 7, and I have kind of my light overdrive. Man, say what they say about the Timmy and the Gen Ray. I freaking love the Gen Ray. And they can be combined too, so let's hear how they sound combined. So now I'm on manual mode on the Boss ES5, and this is way too powerful for the way I'm using it, but it's what I have in hand. So I can combine the Gen Ray and, for example, the clean boost on the ZVEX, which is my 5th pedal. So hear it, Gen Ray by itself. So Gen Ray, and then going to the clean boost on the ZVEX. Now just a Gen Ray. Going to the ZVEX. Or going to the King of Tone. Great, going to the Miesnieks. Love it. So we can combine pedals too and have different flavors. I'm usually not stacking pedals. I like to have like a pedal that I know it works, because it all depends on how you set the pedal and how you have it set. And for a certain gig it's working really good, it's compressing where you want it to. For another gig you just put the amp a little louder, and then the combination of pedals changes completely. So I like to have separate tones. That's why I usually use an effect switcher like this, like the Boss ES5, or I use the ES8 on my big board, because I can have separate tones like Gen Ray for solo, King of Tone for rhythm, to tones that I can really tailor to my taste. But it's also cool to be able to stack pedals, so you can also use it like that. And this is it, my top 5 overdrive section, overdrive pedals on March 29, 2021. Well, that's it. What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comments. your favorite overdrive. If you have any suggestions of other overdrives, I'm sure you have. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can become a patron and support it on a monthly basis, but you can also contribute to the tip jar and you'll be helping the channel to continue. You can also leave your thumbs up and subscribe. It's a great way of helping us, and it's a free way of helping us. Please visit my reverb.com store, where I have some of the gear I review here in the show, but I can't afford to keep. And if you're interested in guitar lessons with me, just send me an email or a direct message via Instagram or Facebook, and we'll deal with it from there. See you next week. Bye-bye.